well, I didn't think I was going to be making 3 videos in a row. Yeah. I really didn't think I was going to be doing that. I made a video earlier, like around 11 something maybe, for RWY spoilers for my review of the first episode of this new season. And after having the emotional trauma of last season, I was just glad to have like a more calmer one. I did a review on some new Pokemon footage for the game, but it wasn't really substantial. And I'm now doing a video of my review of Walking Dead. I got to watch the whole episode today. I actually got home maybe within minutes after it had started. I usually get off of work at 8 o'clock. And if we're lucky, we get out, or no, I got off of work at like between 8:05 and 8:10. And I usually, if I'm lucky, that happens. And for this episode specifically, I wanted to watch at least part of it. And my dad wanted to watch part of it because he didn't want to find out who died before we watched it. And it's like, okay, fine. And when I got home, I got changed, and well, I got bit at work. I'm kidding, I didn't really get bit at work. I don't know if you can tell. That's 2 different zombie bite mark temporary tattoos I got. Like I said before, and when I did my Kmart thing, it's closing down, and they're selling stuff, so I got some tattoos that were really cheap and really good, and I'm gonna at least try to keep this on overnight. And so I'm gonna try to keep this on for as long as possible without getting yelled at, because for one thing, I don't have to go to work unless they call me in, so I can actually work with my stuff again, where I have to make sure at least I take a shower Thursday nights no matter what, Fridays no matter what, Saturdays no matter what, and Sundays no matter what. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are up for grabs. And I mean, I know that sounds weird, but it's like usually I went for school-wise, usually either every day or every other day, depending on where I was, whether it was college or high school. Now, I'm telling you right now, if you have not seen the episode, like if you're either at a different time zone where it's really late and you need sleep because you have to go to work, or if you're not going to be able to be on near a TV or a computer where you can watch the episode, like I have a friend who actually asked me if I could tell them what happens, and I ended up replying that I will tell you if you want me to, but it's rather you just see it or wait and see it instead of, you're gonna get spoiled on who dies, but the way you see who dies is what's the biggest thing. So I'm gonna go until it says 4 minutes at least, or maybe 3:50, because I have to close the door because a cat came in. You can go with Mommy's room for work. And sorry. Okay, so it is officially 4 minutes into the video, and now I'm going to spoil stuff. So if you have not seen stuff, for one thing, I warn you ahead of time, I'm also going to put this in my description. I'm going to try to keep it at the minimalist word, like the least worst words I can possibly use, or try to use as much substitutes. But I'm not putting a mature content warning for this because, for one thing, if, like Chris Hardley said, if you saw this episode, it's like you're not sorry if you swear in your reactions, because for one thing, we have every actor in that, people who are part of it, that anyone who, including Chris Hardley and their crew for Talking Dead, because for one thing, they do a lot. They are part of the fans as well, and they help us express ourselves. I haven't got a chance, other than doing some videos talking about certain episodes or certain things with Walking Dead, whether it was before season 7 was going to be starting or not. But I haven't gotten around to doing any art or anything like that, and it's like I'm glad I never made an OC, because it's like I don't know how I could have taken certain things. Especially after Herschel's death and Beth's death. I mean, with Rick's wife and his best friend and certain other people, it's like I really didn't, there were certain things that were memorable, and that is Herschel and Beth, for one thing. As well as the governor, even if he was a bad guy, he was memorable. But these deaths we had today, my god, and yes, I said deaths, because we didn't just lose one person tonight, we lost 2. I'm gonna just take it with step by step with what happened. So we had seen like a little pre-clip, like sneak peek preview, either last week Sunday or the week before, and it showed literally everything up till the opening theme. So it's like we literally got the beginning of the episode. So it wasn't, and they never revealed anything. It took them a while to reveal who died. They were, and I mean, I knew this was coming. They weren't going to be telling us right off the bat who died. And the thing is, because we had a little sneak preview, as well as what happened in the last episode of last season, or season 6, it was really a process. Now, I'm going to just say this. This is 2016, and this is 7 years. So let's see. I'm going to look at my calendar and go back 7 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was either in high school, senior year, or just getting out of high school. I think I was in high school because January of 2012 was when I left, and that was around when season 2 was happening, spring half of season 2. So I think it was 2010 or 11 when we got Walking Dead. So I was literally in high school and everything that happened for a reason these last 7 years. It's phenomenal how characters have progressed, who we've lost, and who has gained strength. The villains, I guess you can call them, even though some of them probably didn't see themselves as villains for the most part. It was just, I was literally between 16 and 18 when we got this, and now I'm 23. And I'm just shocked, because that's what's killing me, because it's like I just realized with the rest of them, it's been 7 years. It feels like time has gone so fast. So they do a quick flashback of what had happened and who he picked. Now, we knew that Glenn was the freebie warning of running out of the line or causing a ruckus. No, so it did turn red a bit. But we also, so that was like that, and the reason why I say it is because it's very important. If you haven't seen it yet and you're still waiting for me to say stuff, I'm making you guys wait too. But then we found out what Negan said. If anyone jumps out of line or does anything like that, cut out the boys out their eye and feed it to his father. So that literally meant Rick and Carl were not going to be getting killed, or at least not right away, because like I said, we had 2 deaths. So my dad had a prediction of 3 people that could possibly be. I'm going to say his first, second, and then third. The first one was Daryl, which obviously would have had some bad setbacks. I don't know if you can see this. I can't tell if it's in reverse or not, but it says Mrs. Daryl Dixon. And I've had this since either last year or the year before. And it's one of my favorite shirts, and I wear it I make sure it gets washed where I can wear it for every episode of Walking Dead as much as possible. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure this is seen throughout the most of the thing. I mean, I had two of them, and I put the one this way. My mom said, "Don't they usually bite?" Like they turn their head to the side, and it's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." So luckily enough, I found out there was two, so I put the other one horizontal. And actually, I like how it looks, where it looks like it's just a big gnarly gash. So I'm like that one guy in the Fear the Walking Dead. So that was one thing, and then we got to see this like in the little sneak peek, which is, like I said, was the beginning part up till the opening thing, where it was a piece of clothing, and we were my dad literally went, luckily enough Netflix just updated at some point where we had the last season now on, and he kept going back and looking and trying to figure out who's it belonged to, thinking that's who died. So the first one was Daryl, who actually the Sarco clothing actually belonged to, but he did not die. He did not die at all in this episode, I'll tell you that much, so I'm very happy. Now, you gotta realize that Daryl's actually not a character from the comic books. He was created specifically for this show, and I'm glad they did, because he's one of my favorite characters. Not just because he's hot, but because he's awesome. And actually, I've seen a couple of things about him in his real life where he is a really good guy. He's a dad. That really cares about his family and his kid and his cat named Eyes in the Dark. Yes, I've read that. I've seen that tweet, or that pic on Pinterest. I've seen that pin, and it's really awesome. So, because I mean, I'm an avid lover of animals, so seeing that this guy is very caring about animals and will adopt an animal that has not shown affection for anybody and can turn this animal into a loving fluff ball. I think he was like, that's some sort of how he described it. The next guy was Glenn. Now, if you have read the comics, and I actually have read volumes 1 and 2, or most of 2. I don't remember if I read all of 2, but I am as of tomorrow. I'm going to start reading the volume 3, which is when I mean volume, I mean compendium, which is this big. It's like really big and really thick. It's like a whole thing, and it had the 100th issue in there. So that's a big thing. Now, this was actually a present for my dad. I got him volumes 2 and 3 for Christmas and birthday last year / this year, as also an early gift, because I wanted to make sure he knew about, or because I was like contemplating, okay, do I want to do this before we get the season finale of 6? And I decided to do this and give him both at Christmas, actually. Or actually, no, I gave him one when he was having a really bad day last year, and then I gave him the other one for Christmas. So my dad thought maybe Glenn was going to be it because he was done in the comics. Now, I'm not going to reply to if I'm right or if I'm wrong until I get to the third choice, too. My dad thought that it was going to be Abraham Ford, which is we all called Big Red. And honestly, when I say this, I mean this with the utmost apologetics voice. Except for Norman Reedus, I do not know any of the actors or actresses' names who play these characters. I refer to them as their characters because that's how I see them. There are certain characters I've seen in different shows, so like the main wolf, the one that was nuts, that was in the complex that they are currently staying in now, and also the tactic that's kidnapped the doctor girl. And yes, I'm sorry, I forgot your name already, and I really am apologizing for that. And he's in Gotham right now as the Mad Hatter. So we see these people outside of the work, and inside the work, and it's a long process. So my dad literally had the top 3 possible choices, and it ended up being number 3 as the first kill. Abraham was the one who we saw that he had hit first, and we saw blood dripping down the camera, and he bashed into his head. But the thing is, and including with Talking Dead, as soon as because they had almost all the cast there, except for Carl, I think, they literally, Abraham was already out by some point, because they brought out one person, and then they brought out Abraham at some point, because I went with who I'm talking about, who dies. Like, they had 4 people come out, then the second person who dies, then they brought out Abraham, and then they brought out 4 more people, or the last 4 people, because like I said, Carl couldn't be there. And I'm going to get into Talking Dead as well, so this is going to be actually a longer episode, just probably like the review of our WBY, but it's not going into how many minutes things, well, because it's more or less sequence. But then they brought out Negan, the guy who plays Negan, and I knew him originally as Daddy Winchester from Supernatural, so I was like, I can't hate the guy. And then I see this episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I almost hate him. Or no, I don't hate him, I'm just friggin' pissed. And as you can see, I actually used a substitute for once. Or freaking pissed. But, and he hits his head, and the guy, gets back up, and he says, suck my nuts. Now, I'm sorry if you haven't had biology class, or you're not a dude, but, yeah, I'm not gonna apologize for quoting the line. Honestly, I knew him, I knew Big Red as Big Red, but I didn't realize how much of an impact he was until Denise, I think that's what the girl doctor's name was, that replaced the, pardon my language, but porch dick in last season as the doctor of the town, or their little complex. And actually he was supposed to die instead of her, but they decided to change that, and then he was, as he said in the thing, it's like he was living, in Talking Dead today, he was living on borrowed time. So literally it was only a few episodes, like 2 maybe. So he got a little while longer to live before that happened. And he, but I didn't realize how the impact of him was until Denise died, and I found out he was supposed to be the one who died. And and then when I realized like how many memorable quotes and lines and things and everything, it's just, oh my god. And now I'm tearing up again. I thought I ran out of tears other than yawning tears, because it's literally 12:47 a.m. here in where I'm at. And I am gonna miss him, I'll tell you that. I didn't think I was gonna miss him this much, but I am. So then, so Rick is literally just reliving everything that had happened within minutes after, because Negan takes him away, where he's trying to teach him a lesson. He's trying to make him like submit, and it's like when they were saying that on Talking Dead, I was like, okay, keep your mouth shut, Allison, you're around your dad, you don't want to know what you know about with submission. Don't ask. And then we find out that Daryl gets mad enough because Negan's provoking one of Big Red's love interests, Rosita, to look at his bloody bat with Big Red's brains probably on pieces, or at least his blood. And she's just not looking at it, she's just in shock. So Daryl, to kind of protect her, he gets up and he tries to hit Negan. And because Glenn already used the freebie, because he was trying to save Maggie, or at least stop him from hurting Maggie, they lost their freebie. So all of a sudden, he's just saying he's not a liar. He doesn't go back on his word. And then all of a sudden, we see him hit Glenn. And I just, I mean, I've watched it since season 1, and with the second half of season 2 from March 18th to the season ender, and most of season 3, first half of season 3, maybe, I don't know if I got back into it when the second half of season 3 started or not, or if I waited till season 4. I don't think I did. I think I watched season 3. I caught up between season 3 and 4 very quickly, because I ended up getting back in love with it because I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, I started watching season 3 where I with my dad with present day, and then I caught up on my own time. And my God, he's been with us. Literally, he's the second person that's made a big impression, or that was a part of Rick's life since the beginning. The first one was Morgan. And now, while Morgan wasn't in the whole entire series, he ended up coming back into the series 2 different times. And now he's helping Carol because she was injured. But, Glenn was the second one. He was the guy on the radio who was telling him, hey, asshole, you gotta get out of there, and trying to help him. And, I mean, we've seen Glenn grow up very quickly, just as quick as Carl. And, I mean, when that happened, as soon as, it went to finally a commercial, I went upstairs, and my mom was actually, because she doesn't watch Walking Dead with us, she actually was in the living room, and I just went up there, and I was just crying my eyes out. Now, I had pre-prepared for this episode with a beer, a whole roll of toilet paper, and my mind said, okay, I know I'm gonna cry, and I know that someone's gonna die. But I didn't know 2 people were gonna die, let alone how they died. Because Glenn, still thinking of others, with his literally bulging out of the socket of his left eye, or right eye, had said, I will find you. Now, I know that quote from usually Once Upon a Time, but here, it's just as big of an impact, if not more of a big impact, when Maggie was introduced into the series, and so the relationship between her and Glenn. And, oh God. I mean, my mind went to fetal position by the end of that episode, because it nearly took off Carl's arm. Literally, he finally broke when he was almost forced to, or when he realized he had to make sure he got back in time to make sure no one else got hurt, or make sure, and then when he was almost forced to cut off his own kid's arm, but Negan stopped him just in the nick of time. Because he was like, if he had not done it, everyone would have died, including the people back in there where they were staying at. So with that being said, I want to do something that I didn't think I was going to do this soon. Now, I didn't talk about the new X-Men movie that's going to be coming out, which is also coming out in March. So most likely I'm going to be seeing that instead of Beauty and the Beast, and maybe I'll try to see Beauty and the Beast in April. I hope. Maybe once I'm done with school and everything for that semester. But there was a song they used in the trailer, which I have seen. I don't know if my dad saw it yet. And it's a song by Johnny Cash, and I didn't remember if I had heard it before, but it sounded so familiar, so I listened to it. And literally the first 2 lines literally hit home. So if you know when, so on Thursday, it's literally, I was crying that day, and now I'm crying again 2 or 3 days later. because the first two sets of lines literally hit close to home when I was younger, about when I was younger, and I still go through some really bad days where it's like, it's not where I'm being bullied or having, it's just emotional stress of certain situations that I just, sometimes I can't help, and it's an old instinct of mine to do what I do now. You guys know I had depression for a long while when I was younger, and I wasn't someone who would cut their skin, which was lucky enough for me with what I do for a living. I'd actually, because my nails were kind of, usually I wouldn't clip my nails for like a while. I wouldn't let them go extremely long, but I do have them out for a while. I would just like grab my skin or scratch my skin, and my best friend had to keep an eye on me sometimes, when, especially around gym class, because I always felt insecure about myself, and I would scratch at my legs a little. And then, I still do sometimes this day, but usually it's just on my arms. It doesn't leave a permanent mark usually. But when I heard this song, it just brought back all those memories from when I had depression, and when I tried to attempt something really stupid. And that's what I call it. I know it's technically, you know what I'm talking about, but I just call it something stupid. So I'm gonna be singing this song by Johnny Cash. It's called Hurt. But before I do want to talk about Talking Dead. So you guys know, especially after what happened back in July or August. I think it might have been August. And I really don't feel like looking at my purse to find out the exact date, but I am going to, because July 20th. After everything that happened that day, you guys realize that religion is kind of not something I'm really fond of in certain situations. I respect it still, but there's certain things I just can't hold on to because of what had happened, and I know that's just a one-time thing, but it's not just a one-time thing when it's that big of an impact on your life. But I'm gonna say this: if there was a guy, he watches Walking Dead, because on Talking Dead, during the when they were watching stuff before they aired their show, when Abraham died, it rained. When Glenn died, it rained. It had ceased, or like it was barely little when they started the show part. And then when they did both memoriams, they did Glenn first and then they did Abraham. For both of those, or when they were doing Glenn's, it started to rain again. And then I don't think it even ceased, or it came a light drizzle and then started back up again, where it wasn't pouring, but it was bad enough where Chris's mic actually ended up getting damp enough where we couldn't hear him properly, and he had to use one of those handheld ones. But it rained again, and this is in California, where they don't get rain that often, where they don't even get snow, I think, ever, unless it's on a mountain. So to get rain, that's a big thing too. And I'm just gonna say this: my neck actually is kind of sore, because I was working today. But there was a God. He really showed himself today, and he watches Walking Dead. Because there's no that was the tears of everyone who couldn't be in the audience for the Talking Dead in California, that saw the episode live like them. Like I said, I just watched it in delay a little bit, maybe like a half hour or less, because I had to make sure this was stuck on and I had everything situated for when we watched it, and then after we watched it. I didn't even think I was going to be watching Talking Dead, but it was that. Wow. And sadly, it's like I didn't see my dad really giving certain reactions I was expecting, because probably he ran out of tears after yesterday with the whole Cubs winning thing. And yes, I know I didn't do a video for that, but it's like, that's because we still have one more roadblock, and I don't want to do anything with that at the moment, so it's like I'm very happy about that. I've been in a good mood most of the day, except for one little situation at work, but I've been in a good mood all day. And now it's like my mind isn't literally now coming out of the fetal position, but I think it'll be going back in after I do this. I'm gonna be singing the song that I had said that was on the X-Men trailer called Hurt by Johnny Cash, because it's a beautiful song, and literally I think it is the best thing for this, as my tribute and my thanks to the two actors that played two of the most iconic characters throughout this whole series. So, with that being said, I do not own any of the rights to this song. It's all to Johnny Cash. And here, this will be the last thing, and then I will be saying. So I'm gonna say this now. Click like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. And enjoy the song. Now I'm gonna be singing with Johnny Cash because I don't feel like looking for lyrics tonight. Oh. Killer Bunny. Oops, sorry, I paused it. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. Yeah. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all the way, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. Like I said, the first two sets of lines is what I related to and growing up. I wear this crown of thorns upon a liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot repair. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else, I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all, an empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. I would start again, a million miles away. I would keep myself, I would find a way. Yeah. I will see you hopefully soon.